And I ain't the shit still cover their nose. Getting loose and we going killing. I was born to roll.
These chairs are about to break. Alright. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Two Beers and a Mic, man. I have an old pal of mine. I guess we weren't very, very close, but I'm going to get to know the shit out of this guy today. The owner and operator of Ethnic Bollywood?
Yes.
Ethnic Bollywood, it's on the damn shirt. I was going to say Ethnic Fashion because I'm stumbling. A lot better during the sessions where I'm drinking beer. But today I have, like I said, owner and operator of Ethnic Bollywood, Mr. Kumar, man. Welcome to the show, brother. I'm so excited to have him because he usually doesn't do these, man. He's a very elusive character, you know what I mean? He's behind the scenes, quiet, observer type of guy. But I'm excited, man. So, you nervous?
I am very, yes.
Yeah? I was trying to like pour some liquor in your coffee. He doesn't drink. Actually, yeah, let's start off with that. Why don't you drink?
I just never got into it, first of all, and then also my parents are behind the scene with that. And, you know, even though yes, my dad drinks.
I was gonna say, bro, I partied hard with your dad.
Yeah, but you know, they're the from as I was growing up, they were behind the scene where they're like, hey, don't drink, and so that just got caught on.
Damn.
And so I just never got into it, basically.
You know, it's so good. Maybe not the drink exactly, but the feeling afterwards.
Yeah.
The feeling next day is not the greatest. But I always whenever we were at kicking it at parties, whatever, we'd hang out and then you'd leave and I'd be like, man, that fucking guy's gonna wake up fresh tomorrow. I go to sleep happy.
Yeah.
So what's up, bro? You had a new baby?
Yes.
How's that?
Oh man, she's 5 months old now, and it's been a life changer.
Yeah.
To be honest, in the beginning, so it's been almost next year will be 10 years of my marriage, and so it's been a long time coming, right?
Right.
And so
that's so smart. I'm glad you did it that way.
And
no rush.
And
man.
so we waited for a reason. First main thing was making sure that when we have a kid, I wanted to make sure that we are stable.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have a struggling life with a baby.
Right.
So, my wife graduated with a master's. I graduated.
Congrats, Bobby. I didn't know that.
Thank you. And so we were both stable, good jobs. And so
you have your master's?
No, I don't have a master's.
And get on his case.
I know, exactly.
Why are you on the show?
She was pressuring me to get my master's, but I'm too occupied. I'm too busy.
You need to get your master's, bro. You're making the team look bad right now.
You got your master's.
I got mine. It's an online degree, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
master's is master's, man.
That's right. I try to be humble about it, but you bet your ass master's.
No, it takes another level of skill set and determination to get that.
Definitely, it was determination and dedication for sure, man. Because I remember, I finished my bachelor's, and then, because I knocked it out fast. I was like, you know what? If I just keep at this, I'm gonna knock it out too. Because, my wife, she's an RN. I'm very lucky and very grateful to be where I'm at in my career. But I was like, I cannot have my children look at me and be like, well, dad didn't get his stuff. Why do I need to go to school? So, let me just knock it out. I even tried to do my doctorate, but I was like, man, screw this.
Well, that's a whole another ballgame right there.
It's not for the faint at heart, man.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go back or what?
I'm not thinking about it right at the moment because my focus is on the business side of things right now, and so. But the thing about since I'm in the tech industry, the IT side of things, there's a whole bunch of learning there, and every day is you gotta keep up, right? And so with the masters, if I were to do my masters, it would be in business, like IT business side of things, and so I just feel like it won't do me any good right now.
I feel that way too. I remember when I finished my master's, I finished, I think, last year, but I almost thought, I was like, I think I did it too early, because I was 27, 28 at the time, and I had just kind of figured out my career path, and I feel like you want to get it, if you're just starting out and you're just doing school, great. But if it's like towards maybe like if you're like mid-30s, you really want to be focused in on where you're heading the next 5 years, then base your master's off of that, you know?
Yeah.
Mine was kind of a compulsive decision. I was like, I'm just gonna do it. But
and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what my wife did. As soon as she graduated from with her bachelor's, she's like, I want to do something else. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want?
yeah.
I want to do my master's. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, kudos to her, man.
Yeah. And so she did it. She went in, she did it on time. Like, she didn't waste any time. Within like a year and a half or almost 2 years, boom, she was
I think that's the best way to do it, because you do your bachelor's, you're so into the school stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because when you wait and try to go back, well, there's this time limit, because you gotta when you start your master's, you gotta have this certain classes within the time frame. So if you wait 10 years to do your master's, well, then you gotta retake some of these things to freshen up and then take it.
Right.
So I mean, it's, you know, doing it right away, I don't think it's a bad decision at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I have it, because I don't think if I would have gone back now, I don't think I would have, because like now that I'm done with school, I have so much time.
Yes.
That's kind of the reason why I started this, because like I have so much time. You know, like what the hell? Because like my kids go to sleep now at like 8, so between 8 to 12, that's 4 hours. You know what I mean? I try to help out around the house, and because brother, we're IT, everything is lean. You know, so you figure out the easiest way to do stuff. Yeah. You know, you just start from one end of the house, all the chores are done in half an hour. Like, okay, what the hell do I do? So it was either, you know, fulfill this hobby that I had in the back of my head, or you just sit and drink. And I was like, I can't do that, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay, so, you know, your wife has her master's. That's great. You're not going to go back. Well, I want to know, so this is a cool little tidbit, is like, okay, you're born in Fiji, but you're actually in New Zealand before you came here?
So, the whole thing started with this. So, born and raised in Fiji. Yeah. And then when I was 11 years...
Let me be uncle real quick. What part of Fiji?
Lotraka. Kawakumbu, to be extra exact.
Okay.
So not from Ba, but
I'm from Suva, bro. Ba, whatever.
My wife's from Suva, so props.
And she has her master's, bro. We're killing it, bro.
There you go. So when I was 11 years old, we got our green card and all that stuff. So we moved to. We were supposed to come to Stockton.
Okay.
But something got changed in the process, and so we ended up moving to Kansas, actually. Down in the middle of the U.S.
So you came to Kansas and then you went back to New Zealand?
Yeah.
Oh, so...
so basically, we lived in Kansas for about 8 years.
Now, when you say Kansas, the picture when I think of Kansas, I'm thinking of cornfields. That's all.
Yeah, that's because, folks who either have never been there, and so when they picture Kansas, they picture what they see in the movies.
Exactly, that's what I picture.
Yeah, but it's regular, just like how it's over here.
America's America.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have your regular suburban life over there, industrial, suburban, the whole 9 yards over there. Granted that there's probably not a lot of things to do over there, probably, but I'm talking back. I moved out of there back in 2004.
What was that culture like? Because I'm sure you didn't see a lot of yourself there.
It's more of a... There's definitely not a lot of Indian... Back then, there was not a lot of Indian population.
Right.
Definitely not a lot of Fijian Indian population.
Yeah.
So...
people come from Fiji to America. We don't go past the Bay Area.
Past the Bay Area.
It's usually Hayward, and then they come over here.
That is true. The closest land you see, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, it's cool up here.
Yeah. There's too much snow there. So, but honestly, come to think of it, as I got older, I think that was a great experience. Living there was an excellent experience, because I got to go to school there. I got to meet that culture, that vibe over there. It's a Republican state.
What year is this again?
This is so I moved there back in 97. 97 to 2004.
Okay.
So that culture, that vibe there, it's it's like a it's, how can I explain it? I'm trying to explain my childhood. You know, it was fun.
Yeah.
I'll say that it was so different.
Was it? I'm assuming it wasn't very diverse.
There was. From my memory, I thought of it as somewhat of a diverse. I had friends that were, you know, white folks, Hispanic folks. Obviously, there were a very small Fiji Indian community. Very small. Yeah, very small.
Were you guys the forefathers of Indian club in school?
Actually, come to think of it, not me personally, I wasn't involved,
Yeah.
but my community, the small Indian community that we had, yes.
Oh.
They were.
That's insane, man.
They got involved because so majority of the Indian population that are there are Indian.
Yeah, Indian.
So the Desi folks, right? So they had in the schools and stuff like that, had like talent shows, Indian festivals and stuff like that in the universities, and so our Fijian little bit of community, they took part in that.
How was the acceptance back then, 97, of like who you are to the white, black, Asian kids?
I personally, I didn't really notice.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah, there you go.
I know some folks, you know, they'll have their own stories, you know, like I had this experience, I had good experience, I had bad experience, but for me personally as a kid, I didn't notice. I mean, people were nice to what I thought were nice at least, right? So I got along very well. My friends in middle school and in high school, I had black friends, white friends, and I got along with everyone, and so I didn't notice a thing.
I went to school in Fiji too, so I did, I think, up to 4th grade there. But I actually appreciated the diversity, is that a word? Diverse, whatever, of America. Because Fiji was just Indian people. It's just, it's fucking me and you, And then everyone wears a uniform. The only thing different is maybe if you comb your hair this way versus this way. That's about it. It's the same sandals, literally the same brand of oil in your hair, and that's it,
Yeah, that was a change that I enjoyed. Actually.
I enjoyed it too, man. 9/11 really fucked shit up for me, but other than that, so what did you think of like the diversity? It's not a word, of the school in Kansas, because you had to be like in the 5th, 6th grade in Fiji, and then you come over here.
Yep. So fifth. Class 5 or class 6 in Fiji, and then when I went to Kansas, I started from 6th grade, and it was a huge diversity there, and what did make me feel uncomfortable was the whole setting. Like in Fiji, you sit in one classroom
forever,
the whole entire day.
Yeah.
Teachers come and go.
Yeah.
We don't, right? So in Kansas, when I started middle school, we had to switch classes.
Every class different face, right?
Every class different face, different teacher, and different environment. And so it took me a while to get used to. Because in the beginning I was nervous. I'm like, okay, where do I go? Where is this at? Even though I rehearsed ahead of time, okay, this is.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this on the rehearsing. So like, when you're talking in English, did you rehearse in your head before saying it to the person you're gonna talk to?
No.
Because I genuinely focused on making sure I got rid of like my Indian accent.
The accent.
So I would say things like library. I started off saying library. Because that's how I was. So it's library.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, these guys have a twang to it.
That's a great.
I wouldn't even have to go to the fucking bathroom, but I practice in my head, like, hey, can I go to the bathroom? I would go to the teacher and be like, hey, can I go to the bathroom?
Now that you like said it like that, I probably did.
Yeah.
I probably did because when at that, sitting in that classroom with a bunch of non-Indian students, it didn't really feel comfortable, right? Because you're like, they're not me, right? They're not like me.
Yeah.
So how do I get up from here all the way up front to ask the teacher this question, right? And so, yes, there were times where I did say it in my head, okay, this is how I'm going to approach and say it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I went to school, I was a light-skinned kid for about 2 days until the sun hit. Then it was like, hey, he looks different today.
However, I don't think I paid too much attention to the way I'm gonna say it, like how I'm gonna pronounce it and stuff like that. I don't remember paying too much attention to that.
Bro, I was subconsciously, before I raised my hand, if a teacher asked me a question and I had to say it out loud, I would literally practice the words word for word in my head, and I would even mouth it. Because I needed it to sound not anything different. Because it was 9/11, kids just needed some sort of fucking fuel. Like, oh, Alan said this that way. It's like, oh.
So by that time, by 9/11, I was in high school. I believe either freshman or sophomore in high school. I can't remember exactly. I think maybe sophomore. And by that time, I was used to it. I was used to the whole, that diverse stuff and to the whole school system. Yeah. And so,
well, by then you also have a lot more mature kids, right, in your age group.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, man, I remember that day. I was in my class sitting there. I was in my Spanish class in high school, and all of a sudden, everyone is just grabbing TVs. Those portable TVs that you take everywhere. Yeah. So everyone's grabbing that.
It's not portable, brother. The cart that you push in.
Not portable TV, but
shit portable back then. Yeah.
Heavy portable.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they would take the cart into the classroom, they'll plug it in and turn it on. And in my classroom, we had that mounted on the wall, the big tube TV, and so the teacher turned it on, and I was seeing the smoke coming out of the towers, and honestly, the first time I saw it, I was like, are we watching a movie?
Yeah,
that's what the first thing I thought. But then it took me some time to kind of grasp what's happening. And even then, for some reason, I didn't take it too seriously until later on when I started, processing it. Like, oh, this happened. How it happened. How did it affect? How is it affecting us? Stuff like that. Then I was like, man, this is something.
At that time, I was 4th grade. I didn't even realize New York was in America. I was just like, oh, whatever, because like in Fiji, when you watch the news, all you see is BBC. Yeah. So there's shit falling down all the time. Yeah. Here, I was like, oh, this is like different, But it's great. I remember this was like around the time I had just started school, man. And that following week, oh my God, like literally kids forgot my name was Alan. I would just be called terrorist. And then like when we left that school, went to a different school, my dad had this genius idea of putting a TV in every single room. So my vocabulary developed. Thank God, because I wasn't much of a reader. So like I learned how to talk. So if someone said something to me, I had a response even worse, right? So like I can go. I remember like up to 5th grade, I worked so hard. People forgot that I was, Indian, I was Hindu, whatever. Because I was like, hey, Hindu, come here. Like I was just Alan. And then one day, this Indian girl came, and she had to do some sort of a high school presentation. She came. Guess what her presentation was on? Fucking Indian weddings, man. And she shared a bunch of pictures, sat there the whole day talking about it the whole time, just like, oh God.
You know.
And the next day, it's like, oh, it's Hindu again. It's like, hey, remember, that's how you guys get married? Like, damn.
So it's a funny thing, when you're in school, especially middle school, grade school, high school, we feel ashamed talking about
our culture.
Our culture, right?
Because there's no one else in the class. It's just you.
It's just you, right? When like you brought up a great point. When she talked about her culture, her wedding, you felt like, oh man, now I wanted to belong. Now I don't belong.
It's like back to the red dot.
Yeah.
And then extra powder on the forehead. What is this about?
Yeah. So I did that brought up a memory. Like when I was in high school, like shortly after the 9/11, I had a classmate. He recently migrated from Kuwait, and even though Kuwait had nothing to do with this, right? Nothing. He had a rough time. He had a very rough time in class. I mean, people would, call him names. They would in class they would bully him.
Man.
There was a time where one day I remember this. He would bully him, but not in a extremely serious way, but just making fun of him, right? This kid got up and started chasing him in the classroom. And the teacher was never even paid attention.
That's crazy, man.
Never paid attention to them. I'm sitting there like, I don't want to get involved. I'm the quiet guy in there, right? So anyway, but that brought up that memory.
I remember, man, like even back then, I didn't know my sister was having the same things because we never brought it home. It's just like we just started talking about this shit like last year. We're like both approaching 30. It's like, man, imagine if we just talked about it when we were little. Because like both our parents were working 2 jobs, and like I don't know, and like thinking about like fuck, I wonder what kind of nonsense they had to go through. Because I remember they were both working in like Jack in the Box, and like not like they're just working shitty jobs, which attracts shitty fucking people, So I'm like, man. Yeah. But anyways, enough of that diatribe. Good to connect on that level. Ron, man, like you never see this guy anywhere. So okay, let's talk. Let's get to brass tacks. So ethnic Bollywood, like. What happened? Your mom, your wife, your sister were like, I paid too much for this outfit at this store. And you're like, screw this, I'm gonna start a business.
There's not a funny story or anything like behind it, but this is how it happened. So I always hated going to an Indian boutique store.
So you're like, I'm gonna own one.
So, I hated going there. Too, yeah. So, and the primary reason why I hated going there is because when my mom would pick up whatever she wanted, the negotiation starts.
Yeah.
I hated that part. I didn't like that.
That's the culture, brother.
That is the culture. That is the culture.
You haven't gone to an Indian store if you haven't bargained.
and it's something that's not gonna go away. Yeah. It's gonna be with us, right?
Are you kidding? Rainy best kind of
So, but that was me, right? I didn't like it, right? So I didn't start the business because of that. But the reason why it started was. The type of person I am, I don't like to sit idle. Mm-hmm. I have to be doing something. So if I didn't want to go and get a part-time job, right? I don't want to do that.
I mean, at this point, that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
A part-time job.
So I said, hey, I have time. Just like how you mentioned earlier on, you have this time after your kids are asleep and stuff. So I had that time, and I'm like, what can I do with my time where I'm not putting in too much effort into it? Mm-hmm. So I was already anchoring on Amazon and eBay, mm-hmm. and I was actually selling.
You started online, right?
Yes, yeah. Started online, and at that time I was selling the Bitcoin server components.
Oh, so something similar.
I was selling that, and so I was testing the market on the online market, and to do it, to have an online market, you gotta have that niche. You gotta have that something different.
Yeah.
Because everyone else copies. Yeah. And they introduce the same thing, and then boom, there's hundreds of competition online. So I said, well, this Bitcoin stuff is great, but I want to be different, right? So I started researching some more, and I just one day just stumbled upon Indian clothing, mm-hmm. and I said, let me just give this a shot.
Yeah.
And I did that, built a website, put a bunch of catalogs in there, and boom, the website is up. All good. Now it came down to marketing, right? Yeah. And the whole idea of this online thing was, what can I do to do a passive income? Something where it just keeps coming in, and I don't look at it too much. Order comes in, boom, ship it out, done. Right? That's what I wanted, a streamlined method. And so once I started that, then I realized, a year into it, I realized the market we have here in Sacramento. And then, and around that time, my mom got involved. And so, because we would order it home, and look at the quality, and look at the audience to see, kind of test the market, testing.
How much they're willing to,
Because I know nothing about Indian clothes. My mom knows. She's the brains behind.
I own one pair of sherwani, and that's the one I wore on my wedding day.
Same.
Yeah. Nothing before, nothing after.
I own an Indian clothing boutique store.
Yeah.
I own one sherwani, and that's my wedding.
He's just... he wants to sell them instead of wearing that. That's what he's trying to say.
But my wife made me buy a kurta for the Diwali coming. So I'm gonna be wearing that. So that'll be my second pair. So
you're winning.
Anyway, so you know, that's how it started. It started off just an idea, just something to test the waters. You know. And then once I saw the market, how the potential here, once I saw that, and the biggest factor that's the reason why I have an actual brick and mortar store is my mom. She said that because she knows the market, she knows what the customer looks for. And she said, Ron, the online's not gonna do it. You know, it's not gonna drive you anything.
But you know, there's a lot of competition here in that game.
There's a lot of competition here, Elk Grove area here, and my motto is this: don't let the competition scare you.
Right.
Because during pandemic, a few dozen closed.
I don't know, a few dozen.
Not a few dozen. All right, I overestimated that. So maybe like one or two or three closed. Small, really small.
So what kept you afloat? You just balling like that, or like what kept you going?
One thing is determination.
Right.
I was talking to a friend when I was opening the brick and mortar store, and he told me this. He said, Ron, there will be some ups and downs. And in the beginning, there will be a lot of downs. So don't get discouraged by that. And this pandemic time, I took that as a down. Pretty long down. Huge down. And so, and I was talking to my landlord, and my landlord said, Ron, if you can survive this, there's no downtime like this downtime. You can survive any other downtime. Right. And I did it. Right. Somehow it happened, right? And so, I'm very happy that I'm one of those that survived, right? And so, because
I'm happy too, man. It'll be nice to see some young blood in there.
And so anyway, so you know, I ended up. I still have the online stuff, but it's mainly to showcase the product.
So, you talked about how you didn't like the bargaining piece. How are you gonna? How is Ron Kumar's Ethnic Bollywood gonna be different from all the other stores? Because you can change it as much as you want to in your delivery, but the people coming in will still say the same thing. I might come in a couple weeks, I'll still ask you for a better deal.
Oh yeah, of course. And there's absolutely nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. There's always market is bargain. You get a bargain in the market, right? That's how. Unfortunately, it is.
It's in our blood, brother.
It's in our blood.
We bargain.
Right. You go to Walmart, we don't have bargaining, right? Because they set the price. But anyway, that's big corporation. A lot of smaller businesses, people expect some sort of bargain. right?
All right. So one of the things I want to know is because now I know somebody in the business. When you go to Walmart, everything has a price tag. When you go to a clothing store, hey, this shirt is $20. Why is that not the case for Indian stores? You can choose not to answer, but I'm gonna sit here and wait until you do. So is it, how do you memorize all of the prices? Why is that?
Okay, so I'll be honest. I cannot memorize any of these prices, okay, all whatsoever. And when I went to India and I was talking to one of my manufacturers over there, I asked him the same exact question. I said, how can you memorize all of these items, all the prices here? And the answer that he gave me said, Ron, I sit here all day long every day. I know exactly what's where. I know all the prices here. It's because of reputation, right? He kept on doing it over and again, and he just knew the prices. That is not the same, unfortunately, for me, for my store. And it's hard. It's really hard to forget about memorizing. I don't think that should be the way. So when I started my business, when I went brick and mortar, I said, we cannot have that pricing scheme where a customer comes in and they ask for the price of this item and you say $100.
Right.
Another person comes in, the customer leaves, another customer comes in, they ask the same price of for the same item, and you tell them 150. It's not gonna roll like that. We're not gonna do that.
You busted something all out.
We're not gonna do that. So every single item in my store has a price tag.
Oh,
Every single one.
that's got to be a first, man.
It takes a long time to get the price.
Okay,
tag.
so this anarchally is I don't fucking know. It's $80, $85.
Yeah.
Okay. Brings it up. You know, you're like being $85. What do you say? He had to best guy there.
Yeah. So we have now. That's where every negotiating like that is different for every customer.
Right.
It all depends. Look, the bottom line is this: if let's just say I have a flea market, I'm selling vegetables,
Right.
and you ask me for price of this watermelon, and I say $5. I don't know how much the watermelons are, right? $5. And you say, hey, can you do best?
These rich guys don't know the basic stuff. Watermelon's about $2.38.
I wish I was rich. I wish.
I don't fucking know that.
Anyway.
I don't know.
So anyway, so let's just say that much, right? I might say, oh man, I don't know, we may come to some sort of a conclusion and say, okay, $4.50.
Okay.
Some other person comes in. My goal is what? My goal is to be as close to the $5 mark
Right.
as possible, right? That's how negotiation.
You gotta make a profit too.
Exactly. So at my store, what we do instead is this: secret shopping.
Right.
We have our ways to go and find out prices
At other stores, yeah.
at other stores.
Okay.
Okay, so we do that. We negotiate with them. We don't. Sometimes we actually buy it. Sometimes we do buy it
Right.
after we negotiate, and then we're like, okay, let's just do it because it's good to grow. It's good to be in connection with the local businesses, with all local businesses.
You're just like,
So-
you're absolutely passionate about this, right? It's not just like, I have a store covered by my stuff.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's because if you want to run something and you want to see, look, everyone has a success ladder.
Yeah.
And you want to climb that ladder, and you gotta be really passionate about it. So, where was that? Okay, so
Passion, price.
so the goal isn't for me to. The reason why I have price tags is when we do the secret shopping, we find out the market is this much. This is the lowest price that these stores are willing to come down to.
Right.
So what we do instead is, unfortunately, there's not a lot of negotiation at my store. There's a reason behind it. The reason is we take that market price and we put a lower price.
Oh, okay.
Slightly lower price.
Okay.
Lower price enough so that we can still make some money off of it. And to keep the store going, obviously, we have to, right? So we market it just a little bit lower so that when a customer does come in, they don't feel like I'm being robbed, I'm being cheated. Because I've heard stories, not only stories from other customers, how these pricing things. We all know how.
Well, the usual go-to is you price it high, negotiate, come down.
And what happens is this: in other stores, what happens is the price is set at $400. You start negotiating, boom, it comes down to $200, and you're like, whoa, I want it, right? And then you pay, and then boom, you're out, right? We don't do that. What we do instead is, if that is a markup and you come down half, that to me sounds ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
And that just turns me off. I don't like that.
Hey, man. Check this man out, man. I appreciate your honesty, bro. I cannot believe that. Okay, you know what? He came here, Ronish Kumar. I got to meet Ron Kumar today. This man doesn't like to sit on the floor. He's better when you give him coffee and you put him on a chair, man. I appreciate the honesty and I appreciate the fact that you're implementing new things. You're not just opening up another Indian store. I think the fact that you have prices out in the open is great, rather than you asking Auntie one, so she asked the third guy, hey, what's the price of this? And then make something out. So where's your store located at the moment?
At the moment, it is at Fulton Avenue, 1150 Fulton Avenue, and it is right across the Kaveri Indian cuisine.
There you go. You'll see the address here somewhere throughout. I appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you for being this guy, man. Like, man, I've known him for so long. He never talks, man. Like Ron Kumar, man. What a pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
All right, thank you. Yeah.